The Buffalo Bills are making some serious changes, Mafia, and the energy coming off the second day of the NFL draft is absolutely electrifying. The 2025 draft isn't just about plugging holes anymore, it's about setting the tone for a defense that looks ready to dominate. And last night, the Bills made 2 picks that could define their defensive identity for years to come. Let's get right to it. With their second-round pick, the Bills selected defensive tackle T.J. Sanders from South Carolina. Now, I'm not going to lie, my initial reaction was that this pick seemed a bit of a stretch. But after taking a closer look at Sanders, the more I think about it, the more I like this pick. Standing 6 feet 3 inches, weighing in at 305 pounds, and just 21 years old, Sanders brings a combination of youth, size, and raw athletic ability that fits perfectly into what Buffalo needs right now. Let's be real, the Bills' defensive line had to get younger and more violent. Sanders played some nose tackle in 2023, showing the ability to clog gaps and create interior pressure. And get this, he had 33 pressures last season. That's not a guy getting lucky once or twice. That's someone consistently living in the backfield. Now, let's be fair, he's not a polished product yet. He tends to play a little too tall, gets stiff at times, and doesn't always finish plays the way you want. It's a combination of needing more burst, more speed at the point of attack, and better tackling fundamentals. But you know what? That's coachable. And who better to coach him up than Sean McDermott? Sanders' best football is ahead of him, and he's entering a defensive line room that features Ed Oliver, Joey Bosa, A.J. Epineza, Larry Ogunjobi, and Michael Hocht. And with Bosa and Hocht facing 6-game suspensions to start the season, Sanders could get early reps without being thrown directly into the fire. Dane Brugler from The Athletic put it perfectly. Sanders is a long, twitchy big man who just needs continued technical refinement to become a consistent playmaker. He fits both even and odd fronts, meaning McDermott can line him up wherever needed. My grade for this pick? A solid B. It's not an instant impact starter at pick 60, but it's a future cornerstone if developed correctly. Now let's fast forward to the third round because this is where things get really exciting. With their third-round pick, the Bills selected Landon Jackson, edge rusher out of Arkansas. Mafia, hear me when I say this could end up being the steal of the draft for Buffalo. In my very first mock draft, I had Jackson going to Buffalo, but in the second round, not the third. So getting him at this value? That's robbery. Landon Jackson is a monster, 6 feet 6 inches, 264 pounds, with a ridiculous wingspan that just overwhelms offensive linemen. Try to imagine trying to block that much size and strength on a cold December afternoon in Orchard Park. Good luck. Jackson brings exactly what Buffalo has been missing on the edge. Raw power, physicality, non-stop motor. He's not a bendy, twitchy speed rusher. That's not his game. Instead, he wins with violent hands, bull rushes, and relentless effort. His 2024 season speaks volumes. 49 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, 35 pressures. Finishing is not an issue for Jackson. He gets there, and he gets home. And while some draft analysts dinged him for a lack of flexibility, the Bills don't need him to be Von Miller. They need him to be disruptive, to set the edge against the run, to collapse pockets with pure power, and Jackson can do all of that right now. Dane Brugler also chimed in, saying Jackson brings raw power and strength in his hands and consistent effort to the table. He might not look fluid or graceful out there, but guess what? In December and January, it's not about looking pretty. It's about making plays. And here's the best part. Jackson won't be asked to start immediately. He'll rotate behind guys like A.J. Epineza, Joey Bosa, and Ed Oliver, easing into his role and learning from veterans. But if he blows up training camp, and with his traits, it's a real possibility he could find himself in a bigger role by mid-season. My grade for this pick? Straight up. The player, the value, the fit, it's all there. So let's recap real quick. Round 1, Maxwell Hairston, CB out of Kentucky. A- pick. Instant secondary speed and ball skills. Round 2, T.J. Sanders, DT out of South Carolina. B pick. A developmental beast with massive upside. Round 3, Landon Jackson, edge out of Arkansas. A pick. A future terror off the edge. Buffalo is building a defense that's faster, younger, and nastier. Brendan Beane and Sean McDermott aren't just talking about winning now. They're putting together the kind of depth and talent that can win sustainably. And we're not done yet. Round 4 is coming. Pick 132. Will it be another defensive piece? Will they turn to wide receiver? Another edge? The options are wide open. But now I want to hear from you, Mafia. What's your grade for the Bills' Day 2 haul? Which pick are you most excited about, Sanders or Jackson? And what position do you want Buffalo to target next? Drop your takes in the comments. Smash that like button if you're hyped for the new wave of Bills defense. And if you're riding with this young, hungry team all the way to a Super Bowl, and as we look ahead to the next stages of the draft, Bills Mafia, this is where things start getting even more exciting and strategic. Because the way Brandon Beane has been attacking this board so far tells us something critical. He's not just trying to patch up the roster for 2025. He's building a new core, a next-generation Buffalo Bills identity built on speed, strength, and relentless defensive pressure. Let's be real. The AFC is stacked. Patrick Mahomes isn't going anywhere. Joe Burrow is coming back healthy. Lamar Jackson is still a nightmare to defend. The path to a Super Bowl means battling through some of the most explosive offenses the league has ever seen. And what did the Bills do with their first 3 picks? They made a statement. We are going to hit your quarterback. We are going to take the ball away. We are going to finish games. Maxwell Hairston gives you an elite cover corner opposite Christian Benford, someone who can take away the deep ball and create turnovers. TJ Sanders gives you an interior disruptor, young, explosive, and only getting better with NFL coaching. And Landon Jackson? He's the hammer off the edge, the chaos creator, the one who forces quarterbacks off their spots and wrecks entire game plans. But there's more work to do, and round 4 could be the perfect place to address it. One area still needing attention? Wide receiver. Yes, the defense needed reinforcements, but Josh Allen also needs another weapon. Someone with deep speed, someone who can stretch the field and make defenses pay for focusing too much on Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid. Watch for names like Troy Franklin, if he somehow falls, or deeper sleepers like Jaquan Jackson or Ryan Flournoy, guys who can fly and bring immediate value as rotational players or returners. Another spot? Linebacker depth. Terrell Bernard has blossomed into a star, but injuries happen. Adding another versatile, athletic linebacker like Cedric Gray or Adefewin Ulofosio could solidify the middle of the defense and ensure continuity if adversity strikes. And don't sleep on the Bills double-dipping on defensive line. You can never have too many pass rushers or run stuffers in today's NFL. Building a rotation that can stay fresh deep into the playoffs is how you beat teams like Kansas City and Baltimore when it matters most. There's also a sneaky need at tight end. With Armani Rogers injured and Dawson Knox needing a bounce-back year, adding a third tight end, someone versatile enough to play special teams and block in heavy sets, could be in play late on day 3. But what's absolutely clear now is that the Bills have a vision. They're not reacting to what other teams are doing. They're building their own machine, fast, physical, and tough. Exactly the way you have to build if you want to play meaningful football in January and February. Mafia, you have to feel the momentum. You have to feel the energy. This is not the Bills hoping to get lucky. This is the Bills creating their own destiny, one pick at a time. And I'll say it again, Landon Jackson at the top of the 3rd round might be the pick we look back on as the one that changed everything. He has the tools to become a cornerstone edge rusher. Pair him with Bosa, Epeneza, and Oliver in the short term, and develop him into the kind of player who can wreck a playoff game by himself in the long term. This is how dynasties are built. Not just flashy first-rounders, not just big-name free agents, but with smart, calculated picks that hit for upside and fit the system. I can't wait to see